Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Moaning. If this is your very first time here, welcome. We are here Monday to Friday, and then Mark on a Saturday does the Saturday papers rather brilliantly, I have to say.
Shall I show them my bruise?
If you really want to, and I do apologise for anyone on podcast that you're going to miss this rather fabulous bruise that, quite frankly, has been driving me bloody mad.
Do you want to see my bruise, guys?
Show them it.
Okay.
Stand further back because you don't want to put your belly right in people's faces. Go over there. Go over there.
It's bad. The thing is, I don't remember how I did it.
That's the thing. He's got no idea how he did it.
I don't know how I did it. I think.
Let me have a look at it close up again because I think there was. What do you think?
There's the slimmest possibility I could have leant down on a bamboo.
Well, that's what I think you've done.
But why would it be so big?
Because it's spreading.
Wow.
Do you remember bending on about
May Edmondson? It's just like the ones I got from paintballing. Do you remember on my stag do?
Yeah.
You remember how cross you got?
His entire back was covered in bruises like that, and we were going on honeymoon.
Do you remember how furious you were?
I don't remember. How.
No, in a nice way. You were protective. You're like, what the fuck have they all
you've been
done?
Beaten up.
No, they'd all shot me at close range.
Yeah.
In the back. They call it hunt the stag.
And I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So, anyway, welcome.
Kathy Hyde, it looks like a paintball bruise. It really does, doesn't it? It looks like Toffee's fired a ball at me. Morning, everyone.
Morning. So today we are going to be. We got lots of different bits and pieces to talk to you about. Firstly, this extraordinary story about Victoria Giuffre. Giuffre, who was, in the infamous photograph with Prince Andrew, who he settled with her massive civil case. So we're going to be talking about that. She has been given 4 days to live. So shocking.
According to her.
Also, we have the Prince Harry drama that, to be quite honest, we weren't going to talk about.
No, well, we have
for the last few days.
Yeah, we've been rumbling through it, and I mentioned it briefly in the papers, but I just want to get you, we often say to each other, we haven't formed a strong opinion on the story either way. And in a weird way, it's one of those stories you can't get to the truth of or to the heart of. And I just wanted to know what you thought is behind it. So that's kind of why that's there.
Yeah, because it's not going away. So we thought we better, maybe you can help us.
Yeah.
We haven't got a clue. And also the male nipple bra. We have photos.
Yeah.
I love this story so much.
Yeah.
I love this story.
Shall I show my nipple?
No. You've already shown them your belly and that's quite enough.
Okay. No nipples.
And also we have a quite horrific, terrifying story. And the reason it's a horrific and terrifying story is it more and more, these things, whether they're happening in America or Gaza or Sudan, whatever, it's the world order. More and more of most appalling things are happening with no question. Yeah. There's a big story on that we're going to cover on Trump America, which I am in pieces. The El Salvador story, which you may not know about, but if you watch Trump America, you will find out about it, and it is so shocking. Yeah. America has already, in my opinion, become a dictatorship.
But, or would you say possibly become a rogue state?
State.
We kind of touched upon it yesterday. I think that does speak to what we're seeing in the world. Is we've already seen it happen dramatically since October the 7th, an erosion of the rules of engagement around humanitarian law and international aid, etc., international war crimes. We've just seen a normalizing of brutality and barbarism. And in that normalizing, certain stories now just simply don't even get the purchase that they demand. I mean, in a weird way, we've pulled this story in late, but I'm probably going to retrofit the title around it.
And it's very, very important.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So we're going to get to that. We're going to part that. We're going to put that towards the end so we can really focus on that. And also, so that's all the stories. Okay, brilliant.
So let's start with this Prince Andrew story. Does everybody know it? Has everybody seen the story that came up last night?
Well, I'm going to show you the post that Victoria Giuffre posted on her Instagram. Now, Victoria Giuffre, I'll remind us again, is this lady here. I don't know if you remember, she brought the civil case against Prince Andrew. She was at the heart of the Epstein, sex trafficking, Ghislaine Maxwell, all of the horrors of that story. Well, she's posted this on her Instagram. This year has been the worst start to a new year I will in a moment, but I won't bore anyone with the details. I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers an hour, as we were slowing for a turn, that no matter what your car's made of, it might as well be a tin can. I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But you know what they say about wishes. Shit in one hand and wish in the other, and I guarantee it's all going to be shit at the end of the day. Thank you all for being the wonderful people of the world, for being a great part of my life. God bless you all, Virginia. And this is the image, God, truly quite horrendous image that went alongside the quote. Now, Zoe says some people are thinking she's been silenced or paid off. You know, there's lots of conspiracy theories.
What do you mean been silenced?
Well, about
this?
Around, well, a little bit like you mentioned earlier today. There's a lot of drama, isn't there, around the Epstein list and Epstein and everything. Could this have been an attempt to get rid of her?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that I have to say that was the first thing I thought this morning.
Yeah.
Last night. So I saw this post last night. Mark sent it to me. All I was horrified. Okay. I just thought, my God.
Yeah.
All that this woman has been through, and then this, you know, some people are put into the world and it just seems like they just can't catch a break, right? Then first thing this morning, I saw a headline, Lady Harvey, what's her
Victoria
name?
Harvey.
Victoria Harvey. Hervey, who is an ex of Prince Andrew, had attacked. I just saw the headline and it said something like karma. And I thought, my God, what a just appalling thing to say. That's just disgusting. Anyway.
Quite bold to say something
unbelievable.
Like that.
So I just dismissed it. I was just like, what a vile, awful thing to say. Anyway, obviously in the morning, because it's coffee morning, we have to read everything and stuff. And then I read this story. And my goodness, who knows what to believe or what not to believe. So she is accusing Victoria. She says,
well, I've got the quote here. Lady Victoria Hervey, who dated the disgraced Prince Andrew in '99, took to Instagram and posted karma over the image of Giuffre. She added, if Virginia Giuffre really does have days to live, then a complete confession is needed. I don't believe it, though. The FBI are on her right now and arrest warrants are coming. She's conveniently dying to evade jail.
Well, so let's just pause there. What? I was reading that. I was like, what? That she's got warrants after an FBI. So then my next thing was, which will tie into what we're going to talk about in Trump's America and people being taken off the street and thrown in El Salvadorian prisons. I was like, oh my God, is this Trump's America? Has she got a warrant out for her arrest? Because honestly, if you're engaged in what's going on in America, this would not shock you at all. Because it is literally petrifying.
Well,
there's no rule of law.
Let's go a bit further with what
so then that's what I thought at that point. Then
Lady Victoria Hervey. It's not Harvey. They're so posh. It's Hervey. I think it's time that Robert Giuffre, who is her estranged husband, who has custody of their children, it's time for him to speak. I know he knows the truth of the fake photo and all her con jobs. Giuffre is the queen of the fake photo after all, in reference back to the Prince Andrew photo. Hence, I'm such a skeptic and don't believe in jumping to any conclusions right away from a visual.
Well, I think you've jumped to quite a lot of confusion. Whatever it is.
Well, I think the only thing Lady Hervey has done is jumped to conclusions.
Exactly, that's the word. Well, but
I love it when you do that. Well, but
also,
what's going on, guys?
Where has she got this information from? I mean, this is huge to just say this about a person who said that they are dying in the next 4 days, to say that it's all fake, to say that she's a known con woman, to say to her husband, you know she's a con woman. I mean...
What are you confused about, Victoria? We're confused by the... It is an odd thing to say, I've been given 4 days to die. Or is it odd?
I have no idea.
Can you be given renal failure, time of death quite specifically?
What I do know is that somebody that I used to work with who was a nurse would say one of the most difficult thing she found at being a nurse was when young people had taken almost for attention paracetamol overdoses. They would be totally fine on the outside, but you would have to say to them they were going to die within a week. And it was like they would be in the hospital. So, and I remember at the time thinking, well, you can tell somebody they've got a week. So I don't know.
Can I just say, I'm getting really confused because people are saying, you're saying the FBI. So hang on, Victoria Hervey saying the FBI are about to arrest her.
Now, where does she know?
What would the suggestion be there for?
Yeah.
For what?
And what does she know? How does she know that?
Yeah.
This is my question. Has Lady Hervey lost her marbles, or does Lady Hervey have information that none of us have?
Is Lady Hervey prone to posting on Instagram? I don't think she is.
Isn't she an influencer?
She's an Instagram. Zoe says, honestly, I think she's been paid off. By who? Paid off to die. Paid off.
I don't understand what you mean, Zoe. You're going to have to give us more context.
I mean, I get that it's confusing. So anyway, if you take at face value, but you know,
Sophia agrees with Zoe. So Sophia understands what Zoe's saying. I don't.
Paid off by who? Who's paid off?
For what?
The only way I can see this making sense is if someone has done a hit job, and if you do a hit job on Victoria Giuffre to take her out of the equation because you're worried she might spill the beans on something else, I'm guessing that might be it. Would you use a school bus? It seems a very elaborate way to go about it.
Elsa Pop, I smell a rat.
Surely she would be on life support with tubes. I can't stand Prince Andrew, but also don't believe her either. It's interesting that you navigate. I've
always believed her, right? But this puts things into question, doesn't it? That what Lady Harvey's saying. So she better know what she's talking about, because if she doesn't, this is just absolutely disgraceful to post that.
Carol Naismith says it's an April Fool's. That's dumb. No, it won't be. No. It won't be. I think Carol. I think that's a strange Hibernian sense of humour, Carol. Right? I'm not suggesting you're from Hibernian.
Yeah.
Hibernian. You probably say you've got days to live, not specifying number of days. It's very strange. When this story broke, I thought, this is odd. This is odd. But you see, for me, I think Victoria.
But also, if you have been given days to live, you're not going to be totally thinking straight and recording all information perfectly.
But also, you're not going to take a photo of yourself, are you?
Well, she is estranged from her 3 children. Her husband has custody of the 3 children.
Right, yes.
So she may well be doing that because she wants to see her children.
Yeah.
So
listen, this is an image of her with her husband in happier days.
Yeah, I mean, and also for Lady Hervey, we don't really know who she is, to say, come on, to her ex.
Very bold.
To Victoria's ex-husband, you know she's a con woman. What the hell?
So maybe the suggestion here is the FBI are after her for maybe deceiving, lying, exaggerating, or faking the entire drama around Prince Andrew.
Here we go, Zoe.
I did believe her with the Prince Andrew thing, though. I think she wants to just disappear. Yeah, but
so what? She's gonna pretend that she's dying.
Well, why would she tell the world she's got 4 days? People will follow her.
It's all very odd. It's very odd. But I
still don't understand who's paying her off.
Don't worry about it.
No, but it bothers me.
You keep saying the same sentence.
I haven't said the same sentence.
You've said it at least 4 times.
There are too many different angles, because Donald Trump wants the Epstein list to go out, but then there's talk of him giving a pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell. Then there's more and more photographs of Trump hanging out with Epstein and loads of young women. And you just sort of think, oh my God, look, Sophia Lopez official says she wants attention. Maybe she does want attention if she is at death's door and she hasn't seen her children.
But here's another thing as well. Somebody that goes through, not some people that go through, appalling sexual abuse, act out in many different ways. Like, I know somebody that was sexually abused by someone in their family. Okay. And that absolutely happened 100%. Right. And they have so many behaviors that people would say are attention seeking or destructive or a this or that or mean or nasty. And I always think, yeah, but how would you behave if what had happened to her had happened to you?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we do know that you can act out very strange behaviours.
But like someone just said, I mean, it's quite an elaborate one to do when you've got children.
Yeah, I just think.
The police have just made an announcement.
35
minutes ago. Breaking news. Police in Australia said there were no reported injuries after a minor crash involving Prince Andrew's ACCUSER, despite her saying she had just days to live after the accident.
Oh my God.
The 41-year-old who previously alleged the Duke of York sexually assaulted her shared a photograph of herself lying in hospital, as we know. She said a school bus had driven into her at 110 miles an hour. I've gone into kidney renal failure. But the police say there were no reported injuries.
Oh my God.
Western Australian police appear to push back on the extent of her injuries. They describe it as a minor collision. The car sustained just £968 worth of damage. There were no reported injuries as a result of the crash.
She's in hospital, but not with a life-threatening condition. What did her spokesperson say?
Ms. Giuffre's spokesperson
told CNN
Virginia has been in a serious accident and is receiving medical care. She greatly appreciates the support and well wishes people are sending.
Okay.
So
I think rather than everybody rushing and calling and saying everything that she's ever said is a lie.
Like, hang on.
You're
suggesting Good Ship Lollipop should refrain from saying this. Ooh, a little liar.
No, but we just don't know. She could have had a knock on her head. She could have had, you know, I've just been learning about how bad concussion can be
awful.
The things that can happen after a concussion.
Zoe says all those crime podcasts have paid off for me. Well, there you go. I mean, that was as it happened as we went live. There you go. There's some
Is there anything from the FBI?
Nothing.
Where has Lady Harvey got her information about the FBI about to
all eyes on Hervey. Go to her Instagram account now. See what she's posted.
What's she called?
Lady Hervey. Not Harvey, because she's too posh for Harvey. But as you rightly say, Dawny, even Harvey's quite posh. But Hervey's even posher. So there you go. That's the first of our royal stories resolving itself. What a weird. I mean, you're right. It could be. I mean, the thing is, if this is a huge lie, and if this is an elaborate hoax, and if this is her appealing for sympathy, but doesn't it throw into complete question everything that's gone before?
Well, you see, I'm very.
Maybe she's just a born liar, says Jennifer Kando.
Oh look.
Oh,
look what she's put on her stories.
Hang on, that's AI.
Yeah, but she's put that on her stories, Lady Victoria.
Oh, has she? Causes
of kidney failure: uncontrolled high blood sugar levels, high blood pressure, and So she's saying there that's it, and she goes on. I think it's time that Robert Giuffre, fake photos. How is this diagnosis from a car crash? She's put. I've been thinking about VG, and I think this is definitely a scam. I'm sure that if she was actually dying, she wouldn't have pearl earrings and necklace
Someone said
on.
She had all her jewelry.
They would have been removed. I also think that she actually looks better now that she's dying, inverted commas, than she does when she's seen on the street. It looks like a stage
Hervey, that's not from Hervey, just to be clear. Hervey's reposted that.
Hervey's
reposted someone else.
Yeah, reposted that.
What's her next story? The jewelry thing is an interesting
point.
She's not letting go, Hervey, is she? She's really.
Then her again. Every time there's been a trial or a court hearing, she comes up with something like this.
Ooh.
I wonder if that's
May
true.
Edmonds says, if this is true, this is an insult to everyone who has been abused or suffered from any kind of brain. It's a big story, this, actually. The implications of her lying, if she's lying, massive. I mean,
this is
humongous. This could be, if she...
Oh, God.
You see, the problem is she could be lying about this, but telling the truth about that. This is the dilemma, isn't it?
Here's somebody else she's reposted.
Whoa.
As an ICU nurse, her claims are fishy. No one says you have 4 days left to live. If she has kidney failure, they will do dialysis, which works as a kidney. She's not even in ICU as she's wearing a tank top and not monitored with EKG wires. So she can't be that ill.
Could this be, you know, Prince Andrew could use this as the first step of potential rehabilitation.
Hang on a minute, another one.
Oh.
Hearing from reliable sources.
Is this for Hervey?
Yeah. It is thought that the FBI went to her recently with evidence, proof that she lied with recordings where she admits nothing ever happened with Prince Andrew. Almost time to celebrate, she's put.
Oh my God.
And then, another one. Can school buses even get to 110 kilometers? I did think that. And then I thought, Nadia, you are not a person to question driving. Well, no, you know nothing.
No, but I do know that.
And I shut myself
I do know that the 250 goes faster than 30 miles an hour around various local streets. It really does. So then I don't think 110.
She goes on. The pain caused by her lies, destroying lives and tearing families apart, all for money, is no small thing. She has a lot to answer for. I call this divine judgment by God.
Good God.
People often say karma has a way of catching up, don't they?
What
goes around comes around, and she goes on with that saying.
She's using a very royal font.
It's like very royal.
It's like she's handwritten it.
When it does, it's rarely pretty. Whether in this life or beyond, the weight of those choices tend to find a way to settle the score. She's
not stopped storying all night.
Then big good night. We'll be back tomorrow with updates. Wonder where her buddy Maria Farmer is right now. Let's please not forget her fake evidence she handed into the FBI in a lawsuit against them. Like, who is dumb enough to do that? Lady Victoria.
Let's just pause for a moment and consider what the implications of this could be. These are massive implications if she is lying, because if this then throws into doubt everything that was being said, could we be looking at an incredibly dim but nice, or not necessarily nice, but just incredibly dim Prince Andrew, who's made a lot of very silly choices, interviews, people he's friends with, fraternizing with, and all this kind of stuff. Does anyone think this could be the beginning of his rehabilitation? This is what Hervey is suggesting. This is what Hervey is suggesting.
My God.
She could have come up with something better than a school bus, for fuck's sake. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, Lady Victoria better have receipts.
Lucy Williams, genuinely, they think there is a serious mental health disorder here, a massive need for worldwide attention. Not okay.
Now,
it's a big story. This is a big story.
We all know nothing. That's the point. And I don't think it's right to put all this on stories. Right now, she's obviously great friends with people that are involved in this. So if she's been, if she's been feeling the pain and seeing what they've gone through, and she might have got a bit ahead of herself, because she could be massively sued for this if every word she says isn't true.
Kathy I says, no, he's still a creep. This is an important thing to say. You can be a creep, but not have engaged in anything illegal or broken the law.
But somebody here who made the point earlier, if she's been lying, imagine all the girls that were taken to Epstein Island and were abused. The horror story for them today, because people want to not believe victims. That's what I feel at this moment now. I feel so devastated for those girls and those women.
Dawny Harvey, good point. Serious question. Would you give 12 million to someone if you did nothing wrong?
Well, actually...
Killer question, Dawny.
You can, yes. I think that you can, because I think when you want something to just go away...
He wanted it to stop.
Because, he wanted it to stop. And also, I've a couple of very, very different famous people that I've spoken to that say, you wouldn't believe how often just totally like made up things that come in, and most famous people have a fund to just sort out a civil case.
Yeah, but Sarah, but 12 million, I mean, he had to compromise or adjust his entire living arrangements, didn't he? And all his finances and everything, Prince Andrew. I mean, one of the things that's important to say is she might be lying about this. This might be the act of a fantasy, whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean she was lying about everything.
That's going to be what's so fucking complicated now.
But
like the thing is,
it'll be interesting to see what Prince Andrew's estate does with this, though.
Yeah. So you could have somebody that denies. Now look at the Michael Jackson documentary. I 100% believe those men. I 100%. Nobody could ever.
Lots of people don't.
Lots of people don't, and that's why the world is made up of different people.
And we like that.
I completely believe them, and I completely believe how they were able as children to tell the lie that he wasn't doing it to them, because they were petrified, because they were entrenched in the lie, because they had the shame and guilt themselves. So just because somebody doesn't says initially there's nothing happened doesn't mean it doesn't mean something didn't happen. So, and I'm not really saying that for Victoria Giuffre, because who knows, we don't know now at the moment, but I'm saying that for other victims, that's definitely the case.
Jennifer Kando, maybe since Trump is now in charge, he wants to clean up the history of the Epstein scandal and those involved, so he paid her to make this up. Seems very sort of rudimentary and a bit sort of
I'm really
skaggy.
Worried. This is my big fear, and this is because I'm very locked in at the moment to what's going on in America and false arrests and people being thrown out of the country. I'm just really, really worried that this is a way of shutting her up.
Yeah, I can't help but feel with everything at the moment in the world, it feels like the nasty bastards are seeking to silence everyone else. And just putting it as simple as that in layman's terms. And it feels like everywhere. I mean, you know, just today, Israel's told Egypt to not keep their army in a part of Egypt. It's like, go fuck yourselves. It's like, you know, it's like these monstrous dictators purporting to be representatives of democracy are contorting democracy, becoming dictators, and all the baddies in the world, bad eggs, you know, bad eggs who are self-declared molesters. Let's not forget Donald Trump saying, you know, about touching pussy and all this kind of stuff. These people are in charge, and everyone is just blithely going, well, that's not.
He was found guilty of rape in a civil court and had to pay out a massive Trump. You know, and as he said, once you're famous, you can touch anyone's pussy, you know. So these are the people we're dealing with.
So you're right. And one does end up looking at this and thinking, oh, where is the hand of control?
Thing is, we just don't know what to believe anymore in this world.
Strange.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we will see. None of us know anything. And Victoria Harvey is, I think personally, is wrong, is totally wrong.
To take it to Instagram.
To so totally post those opinions.
Okay, we've got to move on because we've spent a lot of time on that. That was an evolving story. That's changed. It's a very important story. Yeah. So I suppose the Prince Harry drama is one that we could perhaps drop. Does anyone?
We could just do it quickly because we don't understand what's going on.
So this is the drama around his involvement with the charity he set up 20 years ago. It's not the same charity, is it? It's a separate charity. He set it up in memory of his mum. And he's fallen out big time with the current kind of head of the charity. It pivots around a moment where there was a sort of, it was either a fundraiser or a polo match incident where the footage of this moment, the lady on the right, let me just get her name. Her name is Dr. Sophie Chandorkar. I don't know if you remember.
You got the video?
I haven't got the video. No.
Okay, so basically she was the other side of Harry.
Yeah.
And you see Meghan say, oh, come round to this side.
Yes.
Not particularly smiley, but just like, oh, just come round to this side. Quite perfunctory. Yeah. Quite perfunctory. You couldn't say she was warm. You couldn't say she was horrible. She's just going, come round here. So then the woman had to go underneath the trophy. Yes. To come and stand next to Meghan. Now, you could look at that any way you like. You could say, oh, Meghan wanted her next to her, which is nice. Or Meghan didn't want her next to Harry. You know, who would know? But after that video went out, there was a bit of a media storm.
Yes.
Where Meghan was accused of something, and
she was accused of that, but she was also accused of bringing her Netflix crew in and only talking to her friend. I think it's Serena Williams, the tennis player, and not talking. And this was a charity thing. Demanding champagne.
So
allegedly.
So she was asked. What's this lady's name?
Sophie Chandorkar.
Sophie Chandorkar to
buy her,
to put out a statement saying that Meghan had not, there was nothing awkward and Meghan hadn't behaved in any way that was off. She didn't. And then she says she got a very cold, was it imperious? Was the word imperious used?
Yes, email.
Message personally from Harry.
Saying simply this, demanding that she explain herself. Now,
and it was unpleasant and imperious in tone, and left her, the boss of his charity that his mother had set up, taken aback.
Yeah. She's also claimed in an interview that at the point that he moved to America, there was a departure of many of the main donors. She said that seemed strangely coincidental. So the idea being that essentially because she refused to kind of course correct or damage limitate some bad press about Harry and Meghan's marriage, unity, moving to America, she sensed a cooling, a going cold, and then suddenly a sort of diminishing of funds and donors and all that kind of stuff. Now, the problem with this is no one knows the exact truth and no one is privy to any of the meetings. Harry's people
Except
are saying...
if she's got this message, why doesn't she show it?
Why doesn't she show it?
Yeah.
So again, it feels like I can't help but feel, but as soon as the Daily Mail seizes something like this, all the press is covering this story, but as soon as the Daily Mail specifically led with this story, they seize upon it saying, this is the new headache for Harry. I always immediately smell a rat and run in the opposite direction thinking there's got to be,
oh, here we go.
We're being made to feel something that isn't necessarily here. But
then she's gone on to say that there was extended, she's calling him a bully. Yeah. That's the point.
A sort of almost, what's the word?
Bullying and was it global?
Not industrial bullying, but you know when you do it sort of within a company, it's almost like by omission.
You know, and she's gone on, was it Sky News?
Yeah, I've got the interview.
So I don't think this story is, we don't think this story is going to go away, do we now?
Do you think he's done anything wrong? What do you think? Or do you think this is just, again, red meat? But
he's completely pulled out of the charity, which is huge.
It's a massive
because
deal.
This charity, you know, she says...
Yeah, me too. She was saying his resignation was bullying.
Yes.
I mean, it is bullying by omission. That's what she's sort of suggesting.
Yes, she was saying that nobody was informed, and then suddenly he made a statement saying that he'd pulled out because there was a complete breakdown of communication. And she said that she's saying that is bullying, in that nobody knew, these 540 people, throws the whole charity up in the air.
Yeah, Kathy, I had a good point about that moment. When I look at the footage of her moving the woman around,
that's what I said.
Perhaps it was to get her in shot.
That's what I said.
Isn't it terrible how things can be so taken out of context?
To be fair, this woman hasn't said anything about that action.
No.
The media said something about that action. Harry then asked her to clear that up, to make a statement.
I just say, I'm really, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to really get to, like you say, if she's got the receipts and she's got the emails and it's a complete done deal and it's obvious that he's been an absolute bastard, publish it rather than going on Sky and talking about it. But in the same breath, I don't want to discredit what she's saying in case there's a genuine feeling in the charity that there was a sort of slightly kind of haughty approach from Harry and all of his donors. But the thing I do get tired of, just leave them alone. It's becoming so obvious, the attempt to pull them down, that it's making me want to actively watch Meghan's show again and start making pots for beside the bed.
I love that.
Put flowers in.
Being a photographer, I would have said the same thing. It was better for the shot.
It was better for the shot.
Like you can just see it. Oh, come around here. Like you could see, like I could go, come around here. Don't be silly. You can get all kinds of shots of that looking like she's bossing. And I just don't think that Harry would just leave a charity.
Well, Christine Bett makes
that his
an
mother
point.
Started up.
I don't think his mother started it.
Oh, that's what some of
he started it up in our memory. I think it was
in our memory. All right.
Christine Bett. It was both Harry and the other guy. You're right. I've got a photo somewhere that set it up together, and the whole board did not have faith in it. I think what you've got here is an invidious situation for Harry and Meghan, and this is where it never works for you when your profile is public. So you know, we're in a situation now where if Meghan and Harry had an assistant who was shit, you get shit assistants. We've had to fire people in the past. You get someone who's rubbish, but you
It's
fire
really
them.
hard to get rid of people.
It's really hard. Yeah, but if they've got someone, suddenly getting rid of anyone is seen as demonstrative, controlling, bullying. But actually, maybe they weren't any good. And it strikes me that if they were unhappy with this woman who was leadership or the kind of leadership of this charity, they've got no neat way of getting out of this without it creating a story. And like you said, Michu, even the act of stepping back and saying nothing
has been deemed as
bullying or described as bullying by her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
anyway.
unfortunately, I think it's going to go on and on this story, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Should we have a bit of fun with this?
Yeah. Shall I show a photo of it, or do you want to? Shall we read the description of it before we actually show it? I've got the description here. Yeah?
Okay, I'll read the description.
Yeah, go for it. Oh no, it's doing that thing.
Well, I've got it on here.
Okay, yeah, do it.
So this is. So Mark said. Oh, here it is. Is that the person? Right. So we are thrilled, and you could maybe reveal the photo as I read them. We are thrilled to unveil the world's first male nipple embellished bralet, designed to hide your own with utmost flair, featuring 3D embroidered male nipples so realistic they might just make you second guess your own. And don't worry, we didn't skip the details. Every hair is ethically sourced. Why risk it when you could be 100% web safe? Inspired by social media's strict no female nipple policies, this bralette is tailor-made for total compliance. So we created a bralette that plays by their rules, tailor-made for total compliance, yet cheeky enough to make a point. Sign up now to be one of the first to grab this limited edition bralette and elevate your nipple. I have to do a video. Now, this is Understatement Underwear, who I am an ambassador for, and I love
what they're doing. Yeah.
I didn't know. This popped up today. I love what they do about everything. You know, the first time I ever saw their underwear, it was because they had a full-size picture of a woman with massive stretch marks across her body. They stick by what they say. And actually, do you remember that video I did where I said the internet's going to hate with this, and I was having to cover my boobs, cover my bum, do it all like this. And it is ridiculous that a male nipple is allowed that is no use to anyone, whereas a female nipple that feeds babies, that gives life, is not allowed to be shown.
But does it speak to the thing that we're possibly doing our podcast about this week, which is inherently for men? It's not Western culture. It's not nurture. It's not having been kind of influenced by society. Men are inherently drawn to boobs in a sexual fashion, and they're unable to kind of think of them in any way other than that. So maybe that's why. But I've just realized there's a problem here. It'd be interesting to see if this triggers the YouTube thing. Usually if you show a nipple, do you remember when
it won't, because it's a male nipple?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what defines it as male? Just the
hair.
Well,
actually, there is a little bit of breast there.
So this
could
get
be banned.
Blocked.
We could be blocked today.
It'd be interesting. But, you know, even though there's a few little hairs, Jan says it's not working, guys. Nice try. Love your straight faces. So in what, I don't know what you're talking about. In what set of circumstances would you wear this?
Well, I will now, the next time I am prancing around in Understatement underwear, I may well put a male nipple onto it so that I can pass through the nipple gate.
If the definition of a male nipple is a number of hairs around the nipple, you've got 2 male nipples already.
I mean, I suppose well, no, because I've plucked them, haven't I? I've mistakenly plucked them.
Nice.
If you want to be able to show your nipple, make sure you don't do any hair removal.
Grow hair.
That's very important.
Grow hair. Could I wear it? So it's not aimed for men, is it? It's aimed for women, because men can show it's for women to be able to get their tits out, basically.
Yeah, darling, you've got a male nipple. Get your nipple out.
I'm not getting my nipple out.
If you get your nipple out, right, and then if I get my nipple, your nipple will not be banned and my nipple will.
I just showed it. I don't have as many hairs around it. It could read that as a female nipple.
Well, I think it's genius. And I am very, very happy. And I will be putting myself on the waiting list, because there is a waiting list. And of course, you know, it's so important. Everything is politics. Everything. You know, but when people say they're not political, every single thing that we do, and we are told to do, and we are told to be.
Have they got the link to buy them on their Instagram account? So I'm gonna get you one, babe, because I fancy seeing you running around with your nipple out. Link in bio. They're calling it the bralet.
Yes, so because bros' nipples don't get banned.
I mean, Florence Pugh has talked about this a lot. The bralet. Get it? Waiting list.
Be there.
Be there.
Or be square.
Or be square.
Let's see if you're going to ban us, boys.
Get your hairy nips out. It'd be funny if my nipple gets this pulled down more than the bralet.
No, you're.
My nipple is less masculine than that one.
Oh, do you remember when I did the Kim Kardashian bra and we sewed on the
nipples.
The nipples.
The hair.
No,
nipples.
I sewed
oh, yes, you did.
two
yes.
buttons.
It couldn't cope with that.
It couldn't cope. It didn't know what to do because it was covered.
I think it's a really good idea. I think it's empowering. I think it's political. I think it's quite humorous. I think it's nifty. And it's hairy, which is always wonderful.
So follow Understatement Underwear. They are the guys.
Okay, we're going to move just finally to a serious story for those of you who are engaged, have been engaged continuously since October the 7th, before October the 7th, with the situation in the Middle East.
We're not going to say much about this. We just want to make sure that this news is getting out. I mean, we don't have a lot of time this morning, but we just want you to know.
So, so the Guardian, lots of newspapers are reporting.
Jewish Voice for Peace have done a very impassioned piece on this on their Instagram as well.
And it's really important that today the Guardian has adjusted their headline to Israel have killed 15 Palestinian paramedics and rescue workers one by one, says the United Nations. Now, the idea here is that there's a lot of pressure on a lot of the world's press for normalizing just atrocities, ghastly atrocities. But this is news of, as they say, 15 aid workers, one of them a UN employee, who have been discovered in a mass grave. And it's believed that the atrocity of killing them, taking them all out one by one, happened on March 23rd. So only, what was that, a week ago, only a week ago.
Each body, they say,
so I'm just gonna,
20 gunshots.
Yeah, and one of them also has their hands tied with what are those, the hand tie thingies, which suggests again that they were captive and then killed.
Blue gloves on, still from
being emergency workers. Okay.
Digging up a mass grave of first responders and paramedics. One by one, they were hit, they were struck. Their bodies were gathered and buried in this mass grave. We're digging them out in their uniforms, with their gloves on. They were here to save lives. Instead, they ended up in a mass grave. It's an absolute horror. What has happened here? This should never happen. Healthcare workers should never be a target.
Buried in a mass grave in Gaza. They were on a mission to rescue colleagues who had been shot earlier in the day. They clearly marked the
examiners have been buried on the sand. There's a UN vehicle here, buried on the sand. Bulldozer, 34th bulldozer has buried them.
Ambulances shot to pieces.
Buried, bulldozed,
and then buried, bulldozed and buried. And this is supposed to be a safe area.
Did you notice the
so
way
that's how the Israeli army is behaving. We've seen these mass graves before. We've seen people with their their what's it called thingies in their arm in mass graves. But guess what? Israel's army will not be held accountable yet again. No, Israel will do their own investigation.
And also in America, I can't remember whether it was the incredibly strident press officer for Trump who does the kind of daily briefings, or whether it was actually one of the ambassadors, or anyway, whoever it was, the most senior person asked for comment on this story in America said this: everything that happens in Gaza is Hamas's fault. That's the official American line. Everything that happens in Gaza is Hamas's fault. This all comes on the same day. This is really important news, this detail as well off the back of this. Netanyahu and Israel have demanded and requested, that that Egypt demilitarized the Sinai Peninsula, which is Egypt.
Their
The
land.
Sinai Peninsula is Egypt.
And don't forget, they've said the quiet bit out loud. Israel wants greater Israel, so they want Egypt. They want to keep taking and taking and taking.
They won't budge out of Lebanon. They won't budge out of Syria. They won't budge out of Gaza. They keep going into West Bank. The Greater Israel Project is fully alive and well. And rest assured, the one thing that I still believe Trump is going to do that will essentially eclipse and then kick up the fog of war around all of this so that we ignore or don't have the time to attend to the atrocities individually like this. I mean, aid agencies of the UN and the ICC have got a hard job keeping up with the level of atrocities that are happening. They must be constantly putting more and more into their in tray of more and more egregious acts that break international law. What's going to happen in order to completely kick up the fog of war is he's going to hit Iran. I guarantee he is going to hit Iran.
And then we are all in a mess, and we go back to in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians, because what they're doing to them, they can do to any of us. And if he hits Iran, oh my God. Yeah. So, yes.
Again, share this fact, share these facts. When you're sat with someone and they go, oh, I don't want to talk about that. It's what can one do about it? It's all Hamas's fault. Say, is the killing of 15 aid workers truly only the fault of Hamas when Israel are the ones who fired the bullets?
18,000 children, Hamas. 18,000. That's the bodies that they can count. We know there's a lot more. Yes, MeTube, Egypt now, Jordan next. Yeah, Jordan, which is my father's country. Jordan is
Jordan
definitely.
is next.
Yeah. So anyway, right for now, let's just think a little bit about how we can ease ourselves out of this horror and into the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is tomorrow. My lovely yoga teacher, Rachel, is going to do a half-hour live with me at 5:30, I think, on Instagram. So if you fancy having a little try, it's going to be a little beginners, or just to watch and see if it might be something you fancy. Join us tomorrow on Instagram, 5:30 till 6. I wonder if it's 6 till 5. So
I was at Nanny Di's last night. The Wi-Fi, understandably, isn't particularly powerful there. So the Sunday show will be landing tonight at tea time. So for all of you members, you've got a really lovely, very tasty and very funny episode landing tonight.
Yeah, 5:30 till 6. And yeah, as Mark says, a funny vlog for you tonight.
Well, Sunday show. And DP, thank you for mentioning that. Lebensraum is the German that was the phrase that Hitler used for needing more living space for the Aryan race. Lebensraum. I have never been more shocked and horrified. And I don't go on about it enough because too many people get a little bit too hot under the collar about the comparisons. The parallels with how Israel is expanding and what happened with Nazi Germany is petrifying. Petrifying. But they have America backing. So there you go. All right, guys, have a good day. As I say, Sunday show will be landing later and something else. Bye.